And for some more context around Gbagbo's arrival, we welcome Vincent Hugeux to the program. He's an independent journalist specializing in African affairs. Thank you so much for being with us here in the studio. What do we think his return is set to look like exactly? Because it's obviously very different from his ousting. He's getting a motorcade, use of the presidential suite at the airport, a diplomatic passport, among other niceties. Is this the current government's reconciliation attempt?
Well, it's clearly stated as such. I mean, in the past few months, during lengthy negotiations about, I would say, the choreography of this very sensitive comeback, it was really the motto, national reconciliation. But obviously, words are not enough, because we must be aware that the scars and the wounds are still there. We had at least 3,000 casualties during the electoral and post-electoral crisis, 2010, 2011. And among Ivorians, we have seen the level of enthusiasm at the moment. But you have still people who would like to see Gbagbo going to jail. And for example, if you consider the fate of the victims, or the friends or family of those who have been killed during that crisis, is not that simple. So, I mean, the slogan is national reconciliation, but I would say that fine-tuning is required on both sides. On the pro-Gbagbo side, to harness this euphoria. Okay, no provocation, no outbreak, no spillage, whatever. But also on the side of the authorities, they must display a certain amount of openness, but at the same time they must keep control. So that's very, very sensitive case.
And what are some of the methods that could be used to keep control? Because I imagine that Ouattara's government, they don't want him running for president again, ideally.
Well, let's be clear in that respect. If you imagine that Gbagbo could be the wise man, silent in his retreat of Mama, his home village, forget it. It will never happen. This man is a man of politics. He breathes politics. He eats politics. He drinks politics. So, you talk to his friends and would tell you, no spirit of revenge. You have one slogan on one side and the other one here. Okay, but in the same time, he will not stay idle. He needs, first of all, to reunite, I would say to fix, to repair a fragmented party. The FPI, the Ivorian Popular Front, which has been divided in the past few years, and which has been weakened by, I think, a suicidal strategy of boycott, which just stopped last March for the legislative elections.
Ivory Coast is a young country population-wise. However, we have the three leading political figures in the country all in their 70s or even 80s. Where is the next generation of leadership there? Why are we still talking about the same people over and over again?
That's the 3 billion question, and an excellent one. Because when you talk to Ivorian youngsters, whatever their political commitment, look, I give you one figure. Gbagbo plus Ouattara, the current president, plus Bédié, former president and one of the key figures of the opposition, altogether, 242 years. It means an average of 80 years. The average age in Ivory Coast is almost 21, 22. So there is a problem here. The problem is that this trio, they are still confiscating the upper echelon of politics, while they are just asking the youngsters to do the job, on the ground. And it's something which is more and more perceived as unbearable by the young militants. Obviously, officially, they keep quiet. But when you talk to them, face to face, they say, we have had enough. It's time now to open a new chapter. But, they have so many accounts to settle altogether. You had all combinations in the past few years, A plus B versus C among the three I mentioned, A plus C versus B. Tacticals, and people are fed up with that.